And now with us is former Israeli ambassador to the United States. That's Michael Oren. Thank you, Ambassador, for being with us. The current Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Leiter, spoke about Israel's endgame in this conflict. Let's listen.
They need to have their nuclear weapons program dismantled. That's our end game. This is a lunatic occult. A death cult that favors mass murder, talks every day about destroying our state, are not going to agree in the course of negotiations, and this is going to have to be done militarily.
How is Israel going to achieve this?
Well, it's good to be with you. Good afternoon. Welcome to my safe room. So far, it's quiet here. No sirens going off at this moment. Israel will achieve it by military means. Tremendous pressure on the Iranian regime. I think there's also domestic pressure on the Iranian regime. It's a very unpopular government, and people are expressing their displeasure. They're also fleeing Tehran for the first time in 45 years since the Iran-Iraq War of the early 1980s. So it's a very difficult situation for them. And Israel has been destroying these rocket launchers. About a third of Iran's rocket launching arsenal was destroyed last night. We were only hit by 40 rockets last night. I say that ironically because in the past we've been hit by as many as 200 or even 300 rockets. So Iran's ability to strike back at Israel is also getting weaker. And there are indications now that Iran is already signaling to the United States and to Israel that it's ready to cry uncle. It's going to cry uncle to Uncle Sam, and we'll go back to the negotiating table. At the end of the day, Anna, Israel can bomb nuclear sites from now until 3 months from now. Some of these sites are impregnable to our planes, at least. We have small fighter planes. We don't have strategic bombers like the United States. The true guarantee for assuring that Iran will not get a nuclear weapon has to be done at the negotiating table in the position of the Trump administration, which had been prior to this war, that Iran has to dismantle its nuclear sites and join a regional architecture for providing peaceful nuclear energy to all peoples of the Middle East. And I think that's a very reasonable position on the part of the president, and I think it's one that can be realized if Israel is allowed to keep this pressure up on the Iranian regime.
Ambassador, President Trump has reluctantly supported the Israeli mission, but isn't signing off on everything they want, vetoing a plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. According to our reporting, President Trump reportedly opposed this plan altogether, wouldn't allow the United States to participate, according to 2 U.S. officials. No Americans had been killed in the conflict, so Trump didn't believe it would be the appropriate thing to remove Khamenei, and he recommended against the Israelis conducting this operation. How significant is that President Trump refused to sign off on that plan?
I think it's significant. I think the President Trump is signaling that he wants to contain this conflict. He doesn't want to become an all-out conflict because the Ayatollah Khamenei is not just the head or supreme leader of Iran. He's the supreme Shiite leader. And by eliminating him, you are making this much more a religious conflict than it has been. And I think he wants to keep that lid on that if he can. Now, if the Iranians keep on killing Israeli civilians at the rate they have, and then Israel may have no choice but to respond in kind and start targeting political leaders in Iran. And the government has made that abundantly clear. I think the president hopes that we're not going to get to that point.
Is it possible for the U.S. to continue negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program while these strikes are going on?
I think there would be probably, if talks were to resume on the basis of dismantlement, which the Iranians have been, adamantly refusing to do that up to this point, I think that a ceasefire would be possible. And I think that Israel would probably agree to that ceasefire. We're under duress here. This is kind of a war of attrition to see which side calls uncle first. And as I mentioned earlier, the uncle is Uncle Sam. The Iranians were hoping that we go to the United States and say, OK, we give up. Go back to the negotiating table and negotiate an agreement which is very close to the 2015 agreement signed by the Obama administration, which did not dismantle any part of the Iranian nuclear program. Israel and the United States, I think, are in lockstep in insisting on dismantlement and the enlistment of Iran in this regional nuclear peaceful energy program.
Former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Ambassador Michael Oren, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you your safety. Thank you.